Emily Carter, Daniel Hayes, and Sarah Mitchell were the faces of Willow Creek's perfect social circle, but behind the smiles and friendship hid secrets that would erupt into murder, betrayal, and a shocking twist no one saw coming. South Carolina's Willow Creek was the kind of town where everyone knew everyone else, and life moved at a slow, predictable pace. The streets were lined with tall oaks that swayed gently in the summer breeze, and families often gathered in parks and cafes on warm afternoons. It was a place that prided itself on its safety and close-knit community. Among the town's residents, three people drew attention, though for very different reasons. Emily Carter was known for her ambition and intelligence. She had recently moved into a modest home on the outskirts of town and quickly became admired for her dedication to her work and her charm in social circles. There was something magnetic about her presence. People found themselves drawn to her, eager to help or befriend her, unaware of the hidden intensity that lay beneath her polite demeanor. Daniel Hayes was a respected local businessman. Owning a small but successful construction company, he was viewed as reliable, calm, and steady. His life seemed orderly, with routines that never faltered. To outsiders, Daniel appeared content, even happy. But his personal life was far more complicated. Beneath the surface, he struggled to navigate complicated emotions, caught between loyalty and desire, friendship and secrecy. The quiet confidence he projected masked inner conflicts that few could imagine. Then there was Sarah Mitchell, Emily's longtime friend. Outgoing and energetic, Sarah had an infectious charm that made her the center of attention in social gatherings. She had a way of making others feel noticed, but she also carried her own unspoken desires and ambitions, hidden behind laughter and smiles. For years, Sarah had envied certain aspects of Emily's life, though she never allowed it to show. At first glance, the three seemed to share ordinary friendships, meeting often for dinners, community events, and weekend outings. But subtle signs of tension began to emerge. Small disagreements that seemed trivial to outsiders carried weight behind closed doors. A lingering glance, a hesitant touch, or an untimely withdrawal hinted at emotions that were far from simple. Jealousy and longing mixed quietly with loyalty and affection, creating a fragile balance that could not last. Unbeknownst to the town, these hidden currents of rivalry and desire were slowly building towards something dark. In the midst of summer's calm, beneath the friendly greetings and familiar smiles, a storm was forming. The seemingly ordinary lives of Emily, Daniel, and Sarah were about to collide in a way that would shatter Willow Creek's sense of safety, leaving the town reeling in disbelief. What no one could foresee was how quickly secrets would surface, and how one fateful decision would ignite a chain of events that none of them could control. The morning had started like any other in Willow Creek, with the sun casting a golden glow over the quiet streets and the air filled with the hum of cicadas. But that calm was shattered when a jogger on the edge of the forest stumbled upon a scene that would haunt the town for months. Daniel Hayes' body lay sprawled beneath a massive oak tree, his face pale, his eyes staring blankly at the sky. His car was abandoned just a few feet away, the door still locked, as if nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. Panic immediately spread through the small town. Neighbors who had waved to Daniel just days before were now confronted with a brutal, unexplainable reality. Authorities arrived quickly, blocking off the area as forensic teams combed the scene for evidence. Initial observations left investigators baffled. There were no signs of a struggle, no footprints leading away from the body, and no visible wounds. Daniel's wallet and phone were missing, yet nothing in the immediate area suggested a robbery. It was as if someone had carefully planned every step, leaving the scene nearly pristine except for the chilling presence of Daniel's lifeless form. The local police called in specialists to analyze the cause of death. When the lab results returned, they revealed traces of a rare poison in his system, something not easily accessible to the public. It became immediately clear that this was not a random act of violence. Someone close to Daniel, someone who knew him well, had orchestrated this murder. The possibility of a personal motive began to dominate the investigation. As news of Daniel's death spread, whispers and rumors raced through Willow Creek. People speculated about relationships, debts, and grudges that might have led to this tragedy. Emily Carter and Sarah Mitchell, who had been seen with Daniel in recent weeks, quickly became central figures in the town's growing suspicion. Friends and neighbors wondered if the bonds of friendship had turned dark, if jealousy or betrayal had driven someone to such extremes. Detectives worked tirelessly, piecing together Daniel's final hours. They traced his last movements, examined his interactions with both Emily and Sarah, and sought patterns that could reveal the murderer's identity. With each discovery, the case grew more complex, hinting at hidden tensions and secrets no one in town had suspected. Willow Creek's sense of safety was shattered, replaced by fear and uncertainty. What had seemed like a peaceful, ordinary town was now the setting of a chilling crime, and the mystery of who had killed Daniel Hayes and why would soon take everyone by surprise. As the investigation into Daniel Hayes' death deepened, detectives uncovered a tangled web of secrets that revealed just how complicated his life had become. What had seemed like a simple murder motivated by jealousy or a personal grudge quickly evolved into a much more intricate case. Emily Carter, who had been seen as a devoted friend and ambitious professional, had a hidden side that only a few knew about. Investigators discovered that she and Daniel had been involved in a secret romantic relationship for months, a connection carefully concealed from the public eye. Financial records, private messages, and journal entries suggested their relationship had experienced intense arguments in the weeks leading up to Daniel's death. Disagreements about money, future plans, and personal boundaries painted a picture of a connection filled with passion but also tension. At the same time, Sarah Mitchell's role in the story came under scrutiny. Known for her outgoing personality and charm, Sarah had her own hidden motivations. Investigators discovered a series of anonymous letters and messages sent to Daniel in the months before his death. Though she had always appeared friendly and supportive, these communications revealed an underlying resentment and jealousy toward Emily. Sarah's envy of Daniel and Emily's closeness suggested a motive that went beyond mere friendship. Every detail painted her as someone struggling to conceal personal emotions that, if exposed, might have led to dangerous consequences. Yet the more detectives dug, the murkier the situation became. There were inconsistencies in alibis, small details that didn't add up, and evidence that seemed deliberately misleading. The investigation revealed a pattern. Someone had meticulously planned the murder, leaving hints that pointed toward Emily and Sarah while concealing the true perpetrator's identity. The love triangle, which at first appeared simple, now seemed like a smokescreen, a distraction meant to steer suspicion in the wrong direction. The town watched as the investigation unfolded, captivated by the drama between the three central figures. Willow Creek, a place that prided itself on calm and order, was gripped by fear and intrigue. Every revelation brought new questions. Was the motive passion, revenge, or something even more sinister? How well did anyone really know Daniel Hayes? And who had the ability to manipulate appearances to hide their true intentions? With each passing day, the case grew more complex, and the detectives realized that to solve it, they would need to look beyond obvious suspects and uncover the secrets that no one had yet dared to reveal. Just when it seemed the investigation was closing in on Emily and Sarah, forensic labs delivered a revelation that shocked everyone involved. DNA collected from the crime scene did not match either woman. The fingerprints on Daniel's car, the trace evidence found near the oak tree, and even the remnants of the poison pointed to someone entirely unexpected: Robert Hayes, Daniel's cousin and business partner. At first, the town could hardly believe it. Robert had always been viewed as loyal, calm, and trustworthy, the kind of family member who appeared to have Daniel's best interests at heart. Yet the evidence painted a completely different picture, one of deceit, greed, and cold-blooded calculation. Further investigation revealed the motive behind Robert's shocking betrayal. Over the past year, he had been secretly embezzling funds from Daniel's company. When Daniel discovered the discrepancies in the financial records, he had confronted Robert, threatening to expose him and potentially ruin his career and freedom. Fearing the consequences, Robert had meticulously planned a murder that could divert suspicion away from himself. By framing the love triangle, he exploited the town's natural assumptions. Jealousy between Emily and Sarah seemed far more believable than a calculated betrayal by a trusted family member. Detectives began to piece together Robert's methodical actions. He had gained access to a rare poison, one that required careful handling, and had administered it in a way that left minimal traces. He timed Daniel's final hours precisely, ensuring witnesses would see Emily and Sarah interacting with him, creating a false narrative of conflict and emotional tension. Every step was calculated, from planting misleading evidence to manipulating social interactions to feed suspicion toward the women. The more investigators uncovered, the more chilling Robert's cunning appeared. He had built a facade of loyalty and trust so convincing that even close friends and family could not have suspected him. His betrayal was not impulsive. It was a careful orchestration, designed to protect his secret while destroying anyone who might have been connected to the murder. The town, still reeling from the initial shock of Daniel's death, now faced an even more unsettling truth. The most dangerous person in their midst had been hiding in plain sight. Willow Creek's sense of security was shattered completely. What had seemed like a story of passion and jealousy had turned into a tale of greed, deception, and premeditated murder. For Emily and Sarah, the revelation brought relief, but also trauma, as the people they had been suspected alongside were suddenly revealed as innocent, while a cold, calculating killer had been living among them all along. The case, once assumed to be simple, now revealed layers of betrayal and manipulation that left everyone questioning how well they really knew those closest to them. With the shocking revelation pointing to Robert Hayes, the investigation entered its final, intense phase. Authorities moved quickly, gathering enough evidence to secure his arrest. Robert, once seen as a loyal cousin and trustworthy business partner, was now facing charges for murder, embezzlement, and conspiracy. The trial that followed captured the attention of the entire town. Courtrooms were packed with residents eager to see justice served, and the media closely covered every detail, highlighting the chilling twists of the case. During the proceedings, Robert's meticulous planning became painfully clear. Investigators laid out the timeline of Daniel's last hours, showing how Robert had administered the poison in a calculated way, ensuring there would be minimal trace while framing Emily and Sarah. Evidence showed how he manipulated interactions, planted misleading clues, and exploited the town's assumptions about jealousy and betrayal. Each revelation shocked the courtroom, painting a picture of a man willing to destroy not only his cousin but the lives of others to protect his secrets. Emily and Sarah, though relieved to be cleared of suspicion, struggled with the aftermath of the ordeal. Their reputations, friendships, and emotional stability had all been shaken. Emily, who had quietly loved Daniel, faced the unbearable reality that the man she cared for had been killed not out of passion or revenge but because of calculated greed. Sarah, who had battled jealousy and envy, was haunted by how close she had come to being wrongly accused of a crime she did not commit. Both women had to navigate the emotional fallout of being entangled in a murder that had manipulated everyone's perceptions. The verdict was decisive. Robert Hayes was found guilty on all counts, and the court sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The town of Willow Creek breathed a collective sigh of relief, yet the sense of innocence lost lingered. The case left a lasting mark on the community, serving as a reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and danger can hide behind familiar faces. In the months that followed, the town slowly began to heal, though the story of the love triangle and the shocking murder remained a cautionary tale. Residents reflected on the fragility of trust, the destructive power of greed, and the hidden complexities of human relationships. What had begun as a seemingly simple triangle of emotions had transformed into a story of premeditated deceit and betrayal. Willow Creek would never forget the chilling case of Daniel Hayes, and the lessons it taught about the darkness that can exist just beneath the surface of everyday life.